So can you shout your name out for me, please?
Fireworks, and there's loud music for the DVR too.
Just give me a sign, any sign. Anything at all. Just something I can recognise, a noise. Maybe you could bang on something.
Flash a light?
Flash a light. I'm standing outside of the Red Wing Railway Depot. This is a very haunted building. I've been here many times before, and it's been in my book Mysterious Minnesota. But I'm here now to see if I can make contact with the spirits that are here. Railway stations are very interesting. You get lots of energy, people going in, people going out, people are sad, people are happy, people go off to war and have never come back again. So let's go inside and see what we get today.
Red Wing, including this railroad depot, is a very familiar place to Adrian and the team.
This safe here to my right is originally from the Railway Express Agency, and of course they would have kept the money in here. It's a very old safe, but no one knows the combination. So every time I come in this building, I fiddle with the dial, and one day I'm hoping it might prise open. And my imagination runs wild with all the fabulous things that we're going to find. So maybe I'll have a little play with this here and see if anything happens. I can definitely hear things clicking. Are you ready? No, not today.
We are at the Red Wing Railway Station, and we've done several investigations here in the past. And we're currently in the main lobby where we had a lot of activity the last time we were here. And we're going to run a spirit box for a while and see if we can get someone to talk to us.
Static meter just came on.
Are you the one that's affecting my equipment right now? I'm going to count to 3. I'd like you to shout out your first name, please. 1, 2, 3.
Feeling psychically, there was a woman here called Sally, and I think she was working below this floor. I think she was in amongst, I see like sacks of corn and barrels and things like that, stuff that would have been stored here and moved backwards and forwards as cargo on freighters. So she's working here. I think she may be an accountant of some description, where she's keeping account of what's taking place and what's going in and out. But I think we could try to maybe speak to her a little bit more and see if she comes through.
Is there a woman here named Sally? Sally, can you shout out hello? Sally, was it your job to keep track of the dry goods that passed through the railway station? Is that a yes?
I think it sounded like it.
Sally, was it your job to keep track of the dry goods here at the railway station? Sally, have we spoken before?
Because not a lot's happened with that particular device, as a paranormal investigator, it's normally a good idea to then try something different. So we're just going to swap devices out, see if this makes a difference, see if we can get some contact on a separate piece of equipment. Do you remember talking to us before, yes or no? Someone shouted out, and we think that was possibly yes. We'll ask again for clarification. Do you remember speaking to us before, yes or no? What I think is very interesting is that time moves differently for spirits than it does for us. So I remember speaking to individuals at this railway station about 5 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. I'm going to ask them how long ago that was, and I'm interested to know what the answer is, because I don't think it would necessarily be in the same time frame as I perceive that. Can you give me an idea of how many years ago you spoke to me? Can you shout a number out, please? There were several responses right at the very end there, and we're going to have to listen to the audio. But I thought there was a 7, then an 8 added at the end. So their perception of time in eternity is a lot different from my perception of time. Do you like us being here, yes or no? There was a response. There was a response like stay out. They may be waiting for a train, of course, in their time frame, and we're interfering with that at the moment. Did you come from the town of Red Wing, yes or no? I thought there was a no at the beginning of that, but I'll listen in the evidence review. I think we're going to move outside just to see if that makes a difference. Perhaps there's porters, there's people waiting out on the platform that we can engage with.
K2 just jumped yellow.
And every time I'm making a statement, you know, we're getting empirical evidence here of energy coming through the location here.
There it goes again.
Would you talk to us outside on the platform? Lots of energy coming through those devices. I think with our stayed our welcome and the ghosts that are here waiting for trains, we'll leave in peace and quiet for the ghost train to arrive. We're going to go outside on the platform for a little bit. We ran the devices and did an investigation here in the station, but we thought it might be more productive just to spend a couple of minutes out here on the platform with all of the trains going by and all of the cars. And there's lots of people that have sat here, waited at this platform over the years with their suitcases, or maybe waiting for a loved one to arrive back to Red Wing. So let's have a listen and see what happens. If you're here now and you wish to talk to us, could you shout your name out, please? What's your name? Again, we're getting lots of responses, but we're going to have to go back and listen to these when we do the edit for this, and we'll put the subtitles up when we've listened to them at home with our earphones on.
It sounded like a woman.
Is there a female spirit here, yes or no? Yes, in a female voice. Were you the lady that was talking to me actually in the station building, yes or no? There was a yes there as well. Have I spoken to you before? Because you sound familiar to me. Again, getting lots of positive affirmations. I did talk to a spirit here once named Sally, and I've written about that extensively, in my book, Ghosts and UFOs. You can read about that. Sally, can I call you Sally? Can you shout Sally out if that's your name?
There's a Sally.
Yeah. Sally, can you come through and tell me, did you work here, yes or no? Can you see us at the moment? Can you actually see us standing here on the platform, yes or no? Yes, in a female voice. Sally said that she could see us, so I'm not looking to test her, but it'd be very interesting if she could then tell me what colour my jacket is. What colour's my jacket, Sally? Can you shout it out, the colour? What colour is my jacket? You said you could see us, so what colour is my sports coat? Could you tell me what colour's my jacket? Like every gentleman that's English, I have a handkerchief in my pocket, and that's very useful, of course, for crying women and for anyone who's broken their arm, because I can make a sling. So this is a useful piece of equipment for an Englishman to be carrying around. Perhaps it would be easier if I asked the spirit what colour my handkerchief was. And it's not been used, by the way, so no need to worry about that. But I'm holding a handkerchief in my left hand. Perhaps you could shout out the colour of that handkerchief. I think that may have said blue, but I'm going to ask again because I don't want to be perceived as someone who's trying to force the answers through. A psychologist would suggest it's not a good idea to put it out there and everyone then follows, of course. What colour is this handkerchief, Sally? You said you could see me in spirit. What colour is that?
You said green.
Green. We may have actually got the answer, but we haven't heard it because we'll have to go back and listen to the audio. So we're going to wrap up here now. If you get a chance to come to the railway depot, there's fabulous signage all around the walls. There's a lot of great history, and Red Wing is a fantastic town for eateries, for drink, for hotels. So come and pay it a visit and you won't be disappointed. Would you say goodbye to me now? So we had a goodbye there, so now would be a good time to pack up our equipment, and they'll have a chance, of course, to go and rehearse and revise their colour theory.
From here, it's a short walk to the site of the Sea Wing disaster.
This is going to be a very interesting location for us to run a ghost box. I'm standing here next to the Mississippi, behind the back of the St. James Hotel in Red Wing. The worst maritime disaster in American history took place just up the river here, and they boarded a paddle steamer back in the day, 1890, the 13th of July. It was loaded full of people. They were having a picnic on a lovely summer's afternoon, and then suddenly a large gust of wind came along and the paddle steamer toppled over. 98 people died on that day, many of them women that fell into the water, and with all of their crinoline, their hoops, all of the materials, they got wet and sank like a stone. They actually managed to right the Sea Wing, and some of the parts of that boat are actually in the museum here in the Goodhue County collection. But all of those people left this very dock, never to come back again. So I wonder if in spirit some of them might wander back onto shore if we run the equipment. The first thing I'm going to do is ask you to shout your name out nice and clearly, and I'm looking for people that drowned on the Sea Wing disaster primarily. Can you shout your name out for me, please?
There might have been an Alice in a female voice at the very end there.
We think there may have been an Alice when we ran through that, and we're just going to play it again. So if Alice is there, you can shout your name out again. If anyone else wants to come through, now would be a great opportunity. I just want to document your life and make a note of who you are. I'm standing here by the side of the Mississippi, where the worst inland maritime disaster in American history took place. If there's anyone here that was on the Sea Wing paddle steamer in 1890, can you come through and say hello? We thought there may have been an Alice. Can you shout your name out, Alice, if you're here? How would you describe that day? What words would you use to describe that incident? If you was on board at the moment that turned over, there was cold water, people screaming, splashing around. How would you describe that? What words would you use?
Possibly heard a man say horrible.
Are we standing in the right place? Is this exactly where you got on board the Sea Wing? Is this where we're meant to be? Someone told me to shut up, which is very interesting. Obviously not the first time that's ever been said to me. I may get Scott to run a device in a minute on the back of the fact that perhaps they don't like my accent. You have to remember that in America, there was a time, and I know you find this hard to believe, that I would have been perceived as the enemy. So historically, that has come through before on many occasions. Why do you not like me talking to you? Would you prefer it if Scott spoke to you, yes or no? Would you prefer if Scott spoke to you? Who would you like to talk to right now? Can you shout a name out of the person you'd like to talk to? Were you one of the victims of the Sea Wing disaster? Did you drown, yes or no? There was a female voice in there, and I think it was an affirmation, so we're going to ask again just to back that up. Did you drown in the Sea Wing disaster, yes or no? Not more than a few yards away from here is the actual memorial, and it lists all the names of the people that drowned. So if you shout your name out, I can literally research you within a minute or two. So can you shout your name out for me, please?
Fireworks, and there's loud music for the DVR too.
Just give me a sign, any sign. Anything at all. Just something I can recognise, a noise, maybe you could bang on something.
Flash a light?
Flash a light. Anything at all that would give me an understanding that you can hear me. It's very frustrating if I'm speaking to you and I don't think you can hear me. So is there just something you can do, just something small? You can touch me, you can jump up and down, you can shout, just anything at all that would make me, you know, feel like you're listening to me and that you're here. I'll give you a few seconds just to do that. No, there's nothing here. Nothing here. We're not going to be here for too much longer, and I do want you to come through, so I'm going to run this device for just another minute or so, and then perhaps I'll let Scott have a go with a different device. A different person may get better evidence. So could you shout your name out if you were someone that was part of the Sea Wing disaster? If you drowned, can you shout your name out? If you were a female passenger, please shout your first name out for me and I'll research you. We are getting responses, but sometimes we don't hear them in real time, and it's only when we go back and listen to our DVRs and we listen to the audio evidence with our earbuds in that you think to yourself, how did I miss all of that stuff? So if those noises came through as actual responses and we actually listen to those after the investigation, we'll put captions underneath and you'll see what comes through. I'm going to hand over to Scott now, because sometimes a different investigator, a different device, you know, may get a better response. So let's see what he gets when he runs his SB7.
As Scott prepares his equipment, take a look at this man, who Adrian believes came through the ghost box moments ago. This is Peter Gherkin, who died on the Sea Wing, along with his entire family.
If you were on the Sea Wing and you're here right now, can you just shout out your name? Is there an Alice here right now? Can you just shout out Alice or hello? Is there anybody here right now? Can you just shout out your first name? Can you shout out hello for me? We're not going to be here much longer. This may be the last opportunity that you have to communicate for a while. So all I'm asking is just for you to shout out hello or shout out your name for me.
We're not getting too many responses right now, and just because it doesn't happen when we happen to be here doesn't mean a place isn't haunted. It just means it didn't happen when we were here, but we did get one or two little snippets there, and we're going to listen through to the audio, and we thought we heard the name Alice come through. So we're going to go and look at the monument now, memorializing all of those people that drowned, and we're going to see if there's an Alice in amongst all of those people that was perhaps a victim on that particular day on the 13th of July 1890. We've now made our way to the memorial, and as you can see, it's actually been winterized and we can't actually see what's written on it. But that's not going to stop us. We're going to go online, we're going to research this, and we'll do a little piece after this film's finished to see if that person is actually on that list. But this isn't going to stop us. I'm more determined than that.
List of victims of the Sea Wing disaster, the Red Wing of the Sun.
We're actually going online right now. The benefit of modern technology is we can actually research this and get these names coming up. So Scott's going to go through a list of names, hopefully, and we'll see if some of the people that came through are actually listed as the victims.
On the drive over here, I was researching an Alice on the Sea Wing because the monument was sealed for the winter. And I actually found an Alice Palmer that was on the Sea Wing with a relative, Nettie Palmer. So there's no ages here, though. A lot of people have ages, but there's no ages for Alice. So that was quite interesting. We'll do some more research on this and see if we can find out some more about Alice.
Alice Palmer's body was recovered when a guardsman broke through the deck with an axe to access the cabin below. From the somber traces of the Sea Wing, we move to the extremely haunted Liberty's Restaurant. What are some of the things that you've had go on here in these buildings?
Oh, it's constant action. I'd say at least 3-4 times a month, if not more. I be down in the basement, and I can know that there's nobody here up in the building upstairs. And I'll hear chairs pulling out. I can hear footsteps going across the room. When it's late at night, when I know there's nobody else in the building, I've seen the ghost, I'd say 30-40 times before I realized that another friend of mine was with me, and we both seen him at the same time. That's when I realized that I actually was seeing what I was seeing. Before that, I thought it was just overactive imagination or whatever kind of thing, and I just kind of passed it off. But my friend Jeremy and I were down in the basement working, I'd say mid-90s or so, and we were building a workbench down there, and I was just about ready to make a cut, and I turned to the side and I looked, and I seen the ghost behind Jeremy, and I turned back to do my cut, and Jeremy says, "What'd you just look at?" He said, "Stop, what'd you just look at?" I said, I said, "Nothing." I looked back down to what I was going to do, and I was going to put my hand down there, pull the trigger on the saw, and he grabbed the saw and unplugged it, and he says, "Seriously, what did you just look at?" I go, "I thought I seen someone standing behind you." He goes, I turned around and looked right into his eyes. It doesn't freak me out at all. I think it's cool. It's welcoming. He's always been positive. He's always been nice. You know, in this area, this is another, I just literally had the hair on the back of my neck just got up right now. This area here is kind of a hot.
As restaurant owner Doug shows us around the basement, he continues to tell us about his hair-raising experiences.
When I look down, had all the lights off, and your eyes acclimate to being able to see in the dark somewhat, and I looked down that way down the length of the building, and I seen a figure step out, about half of the body, kind of leaning forward. He kind of leaned forward and was looking down, trying to figure out, like he was looking like, what's going on down here? There's people down here.
And on that note, well, we turn off the lights and get down to business.
So we're now going to run a ghost box. We've turned the lights off to see if any orbs or any energy comes through. We can see it better against the dark background, of course. So I'm interested being in this building. It's very haunted. Lots of witnesses to that. So let's run some equipment and just see if we can get one or two answers come through. My name's Adrian. You might know who I am. We've been here many times. First and foremost, just for our benefit in terms of research, and obviously we want to give Doug the answers as well. Can you shout your name out? Who's the gentleman with the tan-coloured pants that walks through here? Can you shout your name out, please? A lot of interference coming through. We've got a lot of pipe work, there's a lot of electrical things going on down here. So let's run that again and just see if we can pick out some voices coming through on the equipment.
Hold on here. Let's back that up.
Feeling psychically, there was a woman here called Sally. Can I call you Sally? Can you shout Sally out if that's your name?
Sally?
Yeah.
Sally from the railroad depot had followed us over to the restaurant.
What's your name? I think I'm going to ask Steve, the cameraman, to follow me just so we can move around a little bit, maybe get out of this position. So we're going to have a bit of wobbly camera work here, and it's a bit Blair Witch, but if you follow me, let's see if we answer these questions for me. What's your name? Can you tell me your name? So many noises down here and so much EMF from all the equipment. It's not a controlled area, but we are getting one or two bits and pieces here. There, Scott's just proving my point. I could feel it. My hairs are standing on end. I can feel the amount of electrical magnetic field caused by the pipe work, the electricity that's down here. It's nothing I would suggest is paranormal, but I can feel my hair's standing up. And of course, if a ghost is energy, this is almost like a finger buffet to them. They can come here and manifest themselves because there's naturally occurring EMF. What's your name? Shout your name out, please. I'm going to carry on wandering around just to make Steve's life difficult. So let's see what else we get here. I just need a name come through. So I'm going to walk around until that happens. And you're going to see members of the film crew around me as well. Do you know who I am, yes or no? I had a voice come through there, and Scott in the background there is shouting out yes as an affirmation that came through. Do you know who Doug is? Are you familiar with Doug? Doug really wants to know what your name is. He's seen you many times, almost on a weekly basis. So if you could shout your name out, we'd love to know if you lived here, if you worked here. What's your name? Of course, we may be getting answers to these and we can't actually hear them in real time, and we'll have to go back and do an evidence review.
He's just trying to put a name to a face, so could you just shout out your first name, please?
During Scott's ghost box session, a door that was previously closed appears to have opened on its own, alerting the team.
There was no door open when we
Oh.
what?
Was it open?
It was earlier today. What I don't know about right now.
No, I just closed.
While we were doing this investigation, one of our team behind the scenes here, Heather, actually thought that the door was shut when she first came down here, and now the door's open. So we don't know if that's paranormal activity or not, but we'll go back through the footage of when we first came in here and we'll be able to corroborate whether that was actually open or shut.
Who's the gentleman that Doug sees down here? Could the gentleman who Doug sees just shout out your first name for me, please? Does anybody want to talk to me? I heard a yes, and it might even have been a woman. Can you shout out your name? Can you tell me what your name is? Who said yes? It's not very chatty, man.
It's very quiet. Of course, we're in a working restaurant and bar, so there's lots of banging, lots of noises. That isn't paranormal, it's false evidence. There's people walking around. So we're here on a Saturday night, so bear that in mind. But we'll listen back to the audio, see if anything comes out in the evidence review, and then we'll play that for you. So I want to thank Doug and everyone at Liberties. If you're in Red Wing, of course, come here. It's fabulous food. You'll have a great time, and we'll see you again in the future.
While this night of investigations has come to an end, each location had its own interactions, even carrying over from one place to the next. And there is no question that the team will be back to dig deeper in the future.